everyone, and thank you so much for coming to this video. Today I'm going to be doing a self-love practice. Sundays are my favorite days to do anything of self-care, so I thought I would tag this in with that. A little precursor, we're going to be working our way from the root chakra to the heart chakra, kind of following all the way up to really open and widen, so that way we can come to ourselves or to others with more compassion, more love, more light. So without further ado, let's get started on our mat. You're going to start in a comfortable seated position, whether that's lotus or crisscross applause, whatever it is for you guys. And starting here, we want to focus on our pelvis on the earth, feeling really grounded and secured here. Start by slowly closing your eyes, bringing the hands to the chest, and just take a couple breaths here. Just to get secured in the body, to start becoming aware of our breath, of our mind and what we're thinking. And I'd like to invite you to set an intention for this practice, keeping in mind that it is about love, whether that be more for yourself or more for others, or even finding more creativity and more passion, since we will be unlocking that as well. And then release the hands to the side of the body. Slowly inhaling and bringing the hands all the way up to touch palms. And then exhale, let them fall down. Inhaling up. And exhaling down. Inhaling up, finding length in the spine, rising to the torso, letting the left hand fall down to the earth, and stretching over to the side body, reaching towards the left, rotating the eyes upward, across the elbow, towards the ceiling. Remembering to breathe in and out. Inhaling, both hands come overhead. Exhale, the right hand thumbs down. We find length in the side body. Reaching towards the right wall. Looking up past the arm. Bringing the shoulder blades back and down. And then exhale down. Now we're going to stand up towards the front of our mat. Begin our Chandra Namaskar. We follow back a little bit more. So our feet are going to be hips distance apart, hands are at our sides, eyes can be open or closed, whatever your preference is. And inhale all the way up, holding the breath and falling halfway, and then exhaling as we find a slight chair pose. Nothing too crazy. Remembering to breathe. Exhale, your hands come down. We step back with the left leg. Let the knee hit the floor. Push our hips forward and bring the arms up with your inhale. Feeling a nice openness in the chest. Openness in the hips. Find length in the spine, so we're not sitting in the back body. Inhale, and exhale, hands come down. Stepping our right leg back, finding a child's pose. Allowing our temple to touch the earth. Again, finding a set of root, a sense of peace and stability here. Inhale, lift the head, look in between the hands, and slowly pull yourself forward, chin hits in the chest, bringing the body up to a cobra. Finding an openness in the chest, rotating the shoulders back and down to find length. Inhale and push back into child's pose just for a moment. And then inhaling slowly the fingertips to the knees. Letting the palms come together, reaching up. Exhaling and finding a back bend. Inhaling back up, stepping forward with the left leg. Exhaling into those hips. Again, feeling a stretch in the spine here. Opening up through the chest. Pushing into the knees. Making sure that our hips are neutral. Letting the hands fall. Stepping up with the right leg, coming all the way up. And then a slight back bend as we exhale. Inhaling back. Falling halfway, holding the breath. Release and let the hands come down, sweeping up to find our chair pose. Finding strength in the knees, strength in the core, letting the hands come down. Inhale, stepping back with the left leg, letting that left leg come down, pushing forward on the right. Inhale, coming up. Just taking a few breaths here, focusing on the area between the navel, finding a release, letting the hands go, stepping back into our child's pose, coming back to our breath, focusing on if it's steady or if you need to calm it. Eye gaze lifts up, and then we pull the body through. Chin comes down first, then the chest. Inhaling all the way up, pushing down with in between our hips and our toes to really find a length. Rooting, and then pushing down. Back into our child's pose. Take an inhale. And an exhale. And inhale, letting our fingertips find our knees, find the palms, reaching overhead. And head follows back, hips pushing forward. Inhaling, coming up, hands come to heart. Inhale as you step forward on your left, letting the knees fall, hips fall. Needing to push the left hip back and the right forward. If you like, you can even put your palms right where your hips begin. Push them forward and let the head hang, opening up with the chest. And then hands come down, stepping forward, inhaling up. And exhale, so we bring the shoulders back. Inhale, hands up. Holding our breath as we fall halfway, holding it. Then exhale all the way down, hands swoop. We find our chair once more. Squeezing our thighs together, pushing our palms of our feet into the floor. And then hands come all the way down, this time stepping back with the right leg. And then letting the hips push forward. And if you need to, you can always bring that foot a little bit more forward. Allowing the hands to come up. Now this time letting that left one fall and reaching over with the right. Or holding on, releasing just the two front fingers. And find some length in the side body, releasing heat. Inhaling up and then falling to the opposite side. Finding stability and grounding in the feet, and then allowing the hands to come down to the ground, step back, and child's pose. Taking a few breaths, and then bringing the fingertips to the knees, slowly tracing up, high on the body and falling back. Releasing heat from the body, the stomach. Coming up, bring them to your chest and stepping forward on the right. Hands come up. And once more, finding some length. Stretching the left and the right sides, releasing heat. And then bringing the hands down to the ground. Stepping all the way up. Bring the hands high up. Inhale. And then exhale, let them fall to the sides of the body, mountain pose. Coming back to that feeling of grounding stability with our feet on the earth. Notice the natural sway of your body as it goes back and forth, but always finding an upright position, never falling, always stable. And then inhale, bring the hands to the chest. Let the hips or the feet come a little bit more out of the hip distance, and we're going to squat down into our Malasana. So slowly sitting back like you're a chair, and then using your elbows, you can push those knees back, opening up the hips, and then straightening up the back. This is one of my favorite poses. The goal is to have your butt touch the ground one day. And you want to make sure that you're feeling this pose, so if you need to, activate the glutes, rise them just a little bit, and let those thighs kind of work. Beautiful. Hands come down, and we step back with the left leg, and we find our first high lunge. Hands sweeping up, sitting down into the hips. And then slowly let the hands come down. With the right, we want to open up our chest, open up our heart to the right side. Inviting love in as we're opening and releasing. Breathing in and out. Finding strength in the legs, stability in the feet. Inhaling up. And then exhale all the way down. Stepping back with our right foot to find a plank. And then very, very slowly falling down to let our body touch the ground. Bringing our hands a little bit outside of our mat, high on our fingertips. And we're slowly just going to rock up into our shoulders. And then pushing all the way up. Pushing into the pelvis to find length. And then exhaling down. Pushing back into a child's pose. Opening up the knees if you like. Finding a few breaths here. Coming back to that intention you set. We're creating fire in the stomach with our twists, allowing the energy to come up instead of staying stagnant. Inhale, come into a tabletop, pushing the hips out, and then back into a downward dog. Walking it out just a little here. And then lifting the left leg up, And stepping it all the way through to find our lunge on the opposite side. Activating our core as we sweep the arms up. And then sit our hips lower, pushing off of our back toes to allow our hips to sink lower, squeezing the thighs together. And then rotating our body towards the left side of the wall, looking back to our fingertips, falling a little bit more forward on our left knee here, opening up through the chest, twisting in the tummy, igniting our passions. And then inhale all the way forward, hands come down, step back to find our plank, slowly coming down, hovering halfway, pulling up, and then on our back toes, pushing all the way back to our downward dog. Pushing in to our palms with nice wide fingers, bending the hips if you need to really push the pelvis back, lifting the booty up. Inhale the right leg up, this time allowing that hip to open up, looking in between the arm, where your armpit is, to see your toes. Say hello, toes. I love you, toes. And then pulling it into the body to step down into our high lunge. Sweeping the arms up. Our core is activated. This time, bringing the palms to the chest while we're pushing forward on our back toes, rotating the stomach down, hooking the elbow on the outside of the right thigh, pushing into our palm. Once again, twisting in our tummy, opening up the chest. On your next exhale, hands come down, stepping back into our downward dog. Letting the chest mount towards the knees, towards the thighs. Reaching the back of our feet down to the ground, heels, that's what I meant to say. And then inhale with our left leg up, opening up, looking for a foot on the opposite side. Once again, saying hello, foot. Thank you for all that you do for me. Remembering to breathe. And then inhale, pulling it up. Exhale, placing it down. Inhale, coming up. Finding a nice, strong foundation. Pulling the hands in towards the chest. Rotating towards the left. Hooking that elbow on the left side. And twist. Being aware of the breath and trying to calm it down. Creating space in the tummy to really twist, releasing all that built up energy, all that love just waiting to burst out. And if you can, find a bind. I didn't do it on the other side, but if you need to, you can do it on this side. Don't worry, we're gonna do this one more time. And then releasing. Stepping back into our downward dog. Taking a nice inhale through the nose, exhaling through the mouth, and then lift the right leg up. Once again, opening up, looking at our toes, then pulling it into the chest. Exhale, look towards the left. Allow that foot to cross into the body, rotating on our back foot, lifting up through the chest, through the hips. Enjoy dancer's pose. Really finding length in the the chest, really opening up, pushing the shoulders back and together. Then allowing that palm to find floor, lifting that leg up and pulling it through into our lunge. This time allowing our left hand to be down, rising our right hand up, twisting the body. Your core should be activated, the fire should be there. So bringing our focus towards the tummy, slowly bring the body up to find our side open. Bringing our hands together, finding that side twist once more. And if it's in your practice, our bind, finding space in the tummy, looking back towards the back wall or our feet. Finding our breath. And then releasing our twist. Hands come down, back knee comes down, pushing the hips back and allowing the head to hang in our half split. Inhaling halfway up and exhale down. One more up and down. Walking back up to our lunge, lifting our back toe up, pushing back to our plank and our chaturanga. Coming halfway down, holding, rotating up, twisting back. Knees come down and child's pose. Coming back to the breath. Feeling our temple on the earth, feeling the calmness, so steady. Then finding our tabletop position, pushing those hips up into our downward dog. Just a couple breaths here to get back in our position. And then inhale the left leg up, opening it up towards the back. Looking at our toes. Inhale, pulling it into the body. Then letting the foot come across towards the right, rotating on the back so it's parallel with the wall. Reaching the arm up, opening up for the chest, reaching the hips up. Finding a breath. And then allowing the hand to come down. Inhaling the leg back and towards the chest. And then between the hands. Working it up a little bit if you need to, like I did. Bringing those hips forward on the right, back on the left. And then allowing that hand to come up. Right hand is reaching high towards the sky. Fingers are nice and energized. Finding space in the tummy to twist. And then inviting the core, reaching the hand back, slowly lifting up. Inhaling hands together, coming across the body. And then if you have it in your practice, find on the opposite side. Whatever you did on the right, you want to do on the left. Not sinking in the hips, everything should be activated. Thighs are reaching towards each other, pushing back on the right foot, on our tippy toes. Inhale. And exhaling, hands come down, lowering the back leg, pushing our hips back to find our, what is this called again? Half split, there we go. Lifting halfway up. And exhale down. Inhale up and exhale down. Walking the hands forward, high to the toes. This time stepping up, feet together on our toes. And coming into a small ball. Letting the head hang. nice stretch in the spine here. This position aids with digestion. Coming back to the intention, whether it be to show yourself more compassion, finding passion in a project you've forgotten about, or finding kindness for strangers. Hips sit back. Inhaling halfway up, finding a straight spine. And then exhale down, let your head hang. Grabbing opposite elbows, swing back and forth here. Remember why you're here. Letting the hands release, coming all the way up, reaching high. Inhale, exhale, lion's breath. So we want to push our tongue out of our mouth, and make a nice roar sound. So nice inhale in, separating the arms, back bending back and going. Inhaling up. I know it's funny, but it is really great. So inhaling, one more lion's breath, going. And inhale up. Bring the hands towards the body. Taking another inhale. And then following all the way down, reaching the hands towards the ground. Stepping our right leg back. Finding our warrior two position. And then just begin to work your yoga. Work your warrior. And if you notice you're inhaling your exhale, you naturally have a rise and a fall. So when you inhale, you rise, and exhale, you fall. Doing this at your own breath. Finding a nice opening in the hips. And then on your last one, bringing the right hand towards the right hip, reaching with the left, stepping in with the right foot if you need, finding a position about a couple of feet in front of your left, pushing in towards the leg, lifting high, activating every part of the body, toes pointing towards the front wall, so our heels are reaching and extending, chest is nice and open, hips are open, inviting and welcoming in the light that you are, the divine love that surrenders. Bending the left knee just slightly. And if you can lift up, slowly bring the leg down, hands come down, finding the forward fold, and then lifting halfway up with our inhale. Exhale, falling. Hands come down. Walk or jump back to our plank. Chaturanga flow here. Bending at the elbows. Rising up with the chest, hips falling. Toes come down and you push up towards the downward dog. Reaching the right leg up, in between the hands, rotating the back foot, and then finding warrior two on the opposite side. Coming back to the breath, and noticing if it's fast, or if it's slow. And then inhale, reaching the body up, exhale, letting it fall, opening up the hips here. You want to lift the right thigh, basically rotating it back. Really find a nice opening here in the hips. We don't want our, we don't want our pelvis to be too forward. So if you want to really push it back with our headlights, which are our hips, we want them going this direction. And then with our hip opening up with the thigh, the right hip here, the left hip opens while we add pressure to the outside of our left foot. And then finding length in the chest. Allowing the left hand to meet our left hip, walking it in just a little bit, finding a position a few inches above our right foot here, and then activating with our core and our right knee and our right thigh, pushing up, finding your drishti gaze on the left side, opening up the body. Letting the hand reach up towards the sky, fingertips nice and wide, toes activated. They're pointing towards the front wall. Your heel is pushing towards the right, finding a nice balance here. Both feet are pushing against the earth, finding that stability. Opening up the heart. Bending the right knee just a little here if you need. And if you can, lifting up. I'm having trouble on this side. And then letting the left leg come down, right hand comes down, letting the body fold here. Inhaling halfway up, exhale, fall. Coming all the way up. Now here, we're going to find a nice back bend and a balanced position. So all of the work we have been doing has been to activate the core, really opening up the chest, opening up the hips, allowing all this body to kind of lengthen, to breathe, invite warmness. So with the left hand, we're going to have it come nice and high. The right is going to fall towards the side here, putting all your weight into the left. And then inhale, bringing the left foot back, reaching towards the inside of the foot. And then slowly pushing back into the foot, finding the length. And then allowing the chest to fall as we open. It's okay if you fall out. You can always get right back in. Finding your drishti gaze. One more breath. And release slowly. Hands come up, back bend back. Inhaling up, left hand comes down. Allowing your breath to slow as you move your weight into the right leg this time. Bending at the knee, reaching back, finding the length in the chest, in the spine, pushing back into the leg, allowing the body to fall forward. Once again, it's okay if you fall. And you also just want to go where you can go, where you feel the pose without falling. And then release. Hands come up. Bring them to the back of the spine here, right where the pelvis is, pushing those hips forward, rotating the shoulders back, and exhale out. We're going to do this one more time. First, allow the hands to come to the sides in our mountain pose, and come back to the breath to let it steady. And coming back to the root chakra, finding the stability in the feet, the grounding, the earth beneath us. and the natural sway of our body, and how, without fail, it always catches us. And allow that to be in your mind as we lift the left hand up, reaching back towards our foot, reminding ourselves that we naturally sway and we can always stay up, kicking into the back foot, opening up through the chest, opening up through the hips. And then releasing. Hands come together and we do a back bend as we exhale. Inhale, hands come up. Left hand falls. Putting the weight on the right, finding our drishti gaze. And then slowly kicking back. Want to kick towards the right, not the left. With every exhale, find length. And then release. Inhale up, exhale, fall all the way down, coming back into our little ball here. And then exhale, slowly come onto our hands and our feet. Doing a couple cat-cows here. Inhale, pushing into the hands. Exhale, let the chest hang, head comes up. Inhale, pushing into the hands. Spine reaches up towards the sky. And exhale, fall. Doing one more. Pushing up. Exhale, come down. Walking the hands up. Letting our chest mount into the ground in our puppy pose. Releasing the tension in our back. And then coming all the way down, letting the tummy fall. Hands come to the sides. Looking to the left. Feeling a stretch in the neck. And then the right. Head comes forward. Hands are to the sides. Finding a low boat here. Inhaling, lifting the chest and the legs up. Pushing our pelvis towards the ground. So inhale. Finding length. Again, reaching the shoulders back. Opening the chest up. Rooting through the pelvis. Inhale one more time. And exhale, lower. Allowing the shoulders to sprawl towards the side body. And then sweep overhead. This time, well, one more time, hands are in front of us instead of behind. So, inhale, reaching up. Activating the legs, the hips, rooting through the pelvis, chest is high. One more inhale, high, reach up. And exhale, lower down. Let the legs come up, knees are still, knees and thighs are on the ground. Reaching towards our back feet. Rotating your shoulder blades back and down. Gaze is forward. Your next inhale, Reach all the way up, kicking through our back feet as we did in our last pose. Bending legs in the chest. Inhale. Remembering to breathe. Kicking as high as you can. Bringing the knees together. And then falling. Pushing all the way back into our child's pose. Letting our hips sink. Temple on the ground. Palms on the ground. Chest melts in between the thighs. Taking note of whatever feels open here and what doesn't. Using the breath and sending the breath towards the spots that need it. Inhale, come onto the back. Lying nice and down. Working in towards our wheel, which will be the main posture of these asanas. So bring the feet towards the hips. We want our pelvis to have a slight tilt, rooting the pelvis down into the ground. Hands are either at our sides, above our head, or underneath the booty if you need it. Rotating the shoulders back and underneath. And then inhale, lifting the hips up, looking towards the chest. Really kicking in towards the feet to lift those hips up. Rotating the shoulders to open up the chest once more. Thinking back, coming back to the love and the fire that sits within you. And remembering that we're doing this to release and to ignite you. Exhale, come down. Finding a breath here. And then once more. Bringing our shoulders underneath our back. Pushing into our feet as we inhale up. Opening and opening. If you'd like, you can put your hands underneath the hips to really support this posture, to find length. And exhale down. This next will be wheel, and if you don't think you're ready for that, then continue doing your bridge pose while we hold the wheel. While you're doing this, I want you to really focus on engaging the legs, trying to straighten them out, and opening up the chest as much as possible. Everything we have been doing has really been to open this up, allowing for us to hit this posture and allowing everything in the tummy to be released. So bringing the hands towards the shoulders here, and then activating our legs, coming up towards the head first, and then pushing all the way up, straightening the arms, trying to straighten the knees and straighten the legs, opening up through the chest. And remembering to breathe here, releasing any tension. And one more breath. Exhale, slowly lower down. Allowing the hips to fall. Reaching towards our knees, hugging them in. Giving yourself a nice big hug. Honoring yourself and your body. And then straight all the way out here. Taking a couple breaths. Bringing the right knee in. Hugging it towards the right side of the body, the right armpit. Opening up the hips just a little here. Just to pull it in. Keeping the left leg activated. as it's pushing into the ground. And then inhale, releasing that leg towards the left side of the room. Looking towards our right hand and letting it come down, keeping the right elbow on the ground. There's a couple of variations you can do here. You can have both legs. You can eagle wrap them, or also straighten them out. Whatever feels best for your body. And then inhale, bring them back to center. Switching the legs out, reaching for the left, pulling it in towards the left side body. Using the arms to pull. Right leg is still activated, pushing into the ground. Looking towards the left. And with our exhale, pushing the leg away. Finding a nice spinal twist. Releasing any tension in the back and the shoulders. And then again, finding a variation that you did on the opposite side. Important to stay consistent. Inhale, bring the legs together. And slowly begin to rock on the spine. Releasing any other tension you find. And really taking your time with this. Not trying to move too fast. And then coming all the way up. Coming into a pigeon pose. Starting with the right side. Allowing the right knee to find the right wrist. And then sitting back with the left leg. First, come high into the fingertips. Pulling the chest forward, allowing the hips to sink and sit. Staying here, or lowering down. Coming all the way down, in here. I'd like you to focus on this right side body, the right hip. We hold a lot of tension and emotional distress in our hips. While the right is masculine, I want you to think of a masculine being in your life, a father, a brother, or anyone else, and finding forgiveness, or even forgiving the masculine side of yourself, where there's masculine and feminine energy in everything, and allowing the breath to release the tension that sits there. Forgiveness. We just open up our heart. First step is forgive. Inhale, bring the body up. Stepping back to the right and bringing the left up this time. A great way to make sure that you're doing this posture correctly. So look back on the right side and make sure that your right leg and your right foot are in alignment. And then walking up, finding a nice length in the spine. Hips are sitting and falling forward with that length. We don't want it to not be straight. Now this is our feminine side. Again, finding the opportunity to forgive here. Again, it could be yourself or anyone else that identifies with the feminine. Even your cat for eating your plant. Inviting something kind onto the side to distract from the tension. Inhaling it in and exhaling it out. Releasing. Opening up. Welcoming empathy and welcoming compassion. Releasing anything negative, any negative words. Inhaling, coming high onto the fingertips, finding length more in the spine. And then pushing the knees back, finding our child's pose. We are almost done. Inhale, look in between the fingertips, pulling up, rotating. So we're sitting on our butt here. Legs are in front. We want to inhale and find length in the spine. Exhale, reaching for the toes, finding space in the tummy. With our exhale, reach forward. Pulling on, bringing the elbows out to find length. Releasing any more tension in the spine. Exhale. Now begin to put the left leg underneath the right. Or I'm sorry, I found a better one. We're not doing that one. Coming on to our knees, allowing them to open with the mat's width. So we're sitting in between our feet here. Opening up the hips a little bit more here. They're staying up high or slowly finding your way to the bottom of the mat. This is my my third favorite pose. You want to make sure that your knees are pressing into the mat, shoulders in the mat, hips are in the mat. If they're not, then you need to come up a little bit. This is great for your knees. If you have any tension, any pain. Letting the head come to the left, to the right. Releasing tension in the neck. Inhale, slowly coming up. Sitting onto the tops of our toes to my number one favorite pose. Making sure that all 10 of your toes are pressing into the mat. Releasing any tension in the feet. We did a lot of work with our feet, a lot of grounding. This is your chance to say thank you for giving him what it needs to detox those feet. And then one more breath. Exhale, shaking it out. Sitting down onto the mat, coming all the way back. Final pose, happy baby. Pushing pelvis into the ground. Pushing the knees towards the earth. Lower back is pressing. Exhale, letting the feet come all the way down. Hands coming towards the sides. Finding your Shavasana. Thinking back towards where you started and how you feel now. How your body feels now. And how emotional you feel now. Do you feel the fire that sits in your mind? Do you feel passion? Do you feel light? Take this opportunity to say 3 kind things to yourself. Please, please, please. You guys are so wonderful, so worth it. You did all of this, and I want to remind you of how strong you all are. You put your bodies through so much. Hopefully you guys didn't quit. And if you did, I hope you started again. It could be anything you guys like. But allow yourself to be kind to yourself. And reminding you how wonderful and amazing you are. And inviting the divine energy to fill you, to warm you. Allowing your mind to quiet, to stay here as long as you like. And again, thank you guys so much for doing this with me. I hope that it made your Sunday even more spectacular. And thank you so much for taking the time out of your day to give it to yourself. So thank you. I hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your night. And hopefully I'll do this again sometime.